Hi, I'm Nick Malowick, and welcome to An Evil Mind, a crime fiction vlog from Xenobooks. This week, author Walter Mosley, born 1952, poli-sci degree, became a computer programmer, starts writing in the late 80s after taking a class, and his most famous creation, of whom I believe there are 14 books at this point, is Ezekiel Easy Rawlins, who is a 1940s, 50s, and 60s, as the series has progressed, unlicensed private investigator in Los Angeles. What is important about this is he is an African-American man in Los Angeles in the 40s, 50s, and 60s with all of the attendant difficulties and dangers that would entail. Rawlins is his most famous creation. The first book, Devil in a Blue Dress, was made into a movie in, I believe, 94 with Denzel Washington and Don Cheadle starring as Raymond Mouse Alexander, who, again, sidekick is not the right word, who is Mosley's associate, who does the dirtier work, the more morally objectionable work that Rawlins cannot do. We talked about this some with Robert B. Parker and his relationship with his friend Hawk. And there's other, you see this trope in private eye fiction a lot. You don't see it so much with Andrew Vax's Burke books. Burke is perfectly willing to do his own dirty work. My private eye, Ken McGreevy, does not have someone to do this sort of thing for him. But for example, in Dennis Lehane's books, there's the character of Bubba Rogowski. There's Joe Pike in Robert Craze's Elvis Cole novels, just to name two sort of things. And these grew somewhat out of Dr. Watson being the more action and violence oriented of the pair between himself and Sherlock Holmes. And you see this also in Mosley's other series, because he also has the Leonid McGill books. I believe there's 5 of those. There's first of the Joe Oliver books, the Down the River and to the Sea, which is the most recent, I believe, his most recent release. There's also the Fearless Jones books, where Jones, like Rawlins, is a war hero, and they actually their universes cross over. They occupy the same Los Angeles at the same time. Personally, just speaking for myself, I like the Rawlins books. I like the Fearless Jones books. I like the Socrates Fortlow books, which are not really crime novels. That's what I talked about a couple of minutes ago, was crime adjacent books. But if you're looking for a recommendation, and you should read all of them. Again, I talk about these people because in general, these are the people that I think are worthy of note and mention and respect. And I don't think these people write bad books. What I will say is that my favorite series of Mosley's right now are the Leonid McGill books. And McGill is a New York private investigator, as is Joe Oliver in the most recent book. And faces some of the same difficulties due to racism and classism that Easy Rawlins faces in 20th century or early to mid 20th century Los Angeles, but they're not exactly the same. McGill has to hide his true self, less than Rawlins does. They are also probably all of Mosley's books are overtly political. This is not the author to get into, or any of the series to read if you're bothered by the interjection of politics into overtly into your crime fiction, because that's definitely the case here. McGill's father named him Leonid after Leonid Brezhnev. His father was a devoted communist in the 1950s and 60s. And McGill's personal life is extremely complicated. He has a marriage that not quite loveless, but certainly crippled in terms of the love and intimacy between him and his wife. He also has children, 2 of which may not be his. His wife is frequently unfaithful to him. And he was not an ex-policeman. He was actually a fixer. He's an ex-criminal. But again, we see this. We see this in noir books, and we saw this in in the Burke books. And, McGill's not the same kind of criminal. He was more white collar is not even the right word. But he was not a common thug. Let's put it that way. He was more advanced, in the criminal hierarchy than that, and he's trying, to some degree, to redeem himself for past offenses. But that also does not make him a shining knight type of private eye. He is certainly willing to commit moral and ethical compromises in the course of his investigative work. And this makes him a little more interesting than, say, like a Spencer, who is very straightforward, who's a real straight arrow, who makes mistakes, but tends to feel bad about them. Leonid McGill, sometimes still, in trying to be a good guy, does bad things intentionally, and with relatively little guilt about doing so. So I think this is probably the most interesting and complex series that Mosley is working on right now, although I would definitely keep an eye on the Joe Oliver series. There's going to be links for all of those down in the description for the video. Sorry, it has been a very long day. So that stuff, you'll find those in the usual place. As always, please subscribe to the channel if you like this video, if you like the other videos. I believe this is my 12th one. We do these every week, and they're usually posted up on Monday. And so you can sign up for notifications for the channel. You will definitely get those. Follow Xenobooks on social media. And thank you very much for your time, as always. And we will talk to you later on. Have a good day.